Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Fins Up Network. And are you ready for a little stock up, stock down on Miami Dolphins players? Well, that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. And I want to kind of do these videos at various points of the offseason, during the season, and post NFL draft is the perfect time to kick off this first one because now that we know who the team has already brought in through the first wave, couple of waves of free agency, and in the NFL draft, we sort of know where some of these players stand. So time for a little stock up, stock down. Can't have the lazy listener though. Your homework assignment. Drop your Dolphins players that are stock up, your guys that are stock down in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, the quest for 1,000 subscribers continues. I think we're at like 750-ish right now. Let's get up to 1,000 very soon here. So if you haven't yet, make sure you're subscribing. And let's start right away with a stock up, and that is Michael Deiter, the incumbent center of the Miami Dolphins. So if you look at what they've done in free agency, didn't bring in a center for competition, didn't draft a center, didn't draft an offensive lineman. Now, I know they brought in some offensive linemen, but not typically a guy that you're really looking that's going to press Michael Deiter. And so far, the hot name around the Dolphins remaining in free agency, JC Tretter. Hasn't been brought in yet. He is not signed anywhere. Obviously, that means he hasn't signed with the Dolphins. So what does that mean? That means Deiter is the front runner to be the team center heading into the 2022 NFL season. So there's nowhere but stock up right now for Deiter until something along those lines change. So he's the first one. Let's bring it down a little bit. Stock down on Preston Williams. So the wide receiver room heading into the draft already felt a bit crowded the way it was. And when they brought Preston Williams back, they brought him back on a one-year deal. So not showing a ton of love to him in the first place, not a lot of commitment there because when he's been healthy and he's been able to hold on to the ball, he's had a little bit of drop issues. He's been fine. But the inconsistencies, the injuries, and now you look what the Dolphins did in the fourth round. Drafting Erik Ezukanma. Still learning how to pronounce that name on like a fluid basis. So if I stumble a little bit here and there, for the love of God, just forgive me for a little bit. But Ezukanma, obviously fourth round is decent draft capital. Obviously, Wes Welker had a little bit of say in this, being a former Texas Tech guy. Obviously, the team liked what they saw there. So they're going to give these guys chances to succeed. And if you look at what the Dolphins lost, Devontae Parker, who's the guy that we anticipate kind of filling that role? Well, when Preston Williams was the one they re-signed, obviously he was kind of the one that was shooting up the charts, but then you go ahead and you draft a bigger bodied guy in Ezukanma that can create after the catch, that can be used in the backfield a little bit as a runner, more of a do-it-all kind of guy. I'm not opposed to Preston Williams. I like what he brings to the table. We just need to see more consistency. But with the already crowded wide receiver room, with drafting Ezukanma, it's stock down right now for Preston Williams. Let's do another stock down right now, and that's got to be Elandon Roberts, because the Dolphins' first pick, obviously in the third round of the 2022 NFL draft, they took Channing Tindall. Maybe Tindall doesn't dip into Roberts' playing time right away, but my guess is he'll have some packages. And if he succeeds in that role, if he does good in camp, if he looks good in preseason, if he does good in his first regular season action, they're not going to hesitate to put him on the field more often than not. They drafted this guy thinking, hey, he's the future of what this team is going to end up doing at linebacker. And if you look at Elandon Roberts, what's his ideal role? It's probably being a sub linebacker and a run stuffer the way it is. He's not ideally the guy that you want starting week in, week out. So they're going to give Channing Tindall all the opportunity in the world to succeed. That might come at the cost of Elandon Roberts' play time. So while I think Roberts is still your guy heading into week one, early part of the season, to be that run stuffing middle linebacker, Tindall's going to be knocking on that door. And that's a good thing for Dolphins fans because we want to see the early round draft picks succeed. Well, we got to jump into a stock up. We got to bring it back up here. Cheated on this one, brought two offensive linemen together. And as you can see there, Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg. I mentioned no offensive linemen being drafted in the 22 draft. They signed some undrafted free agents that may push for roster spots, but no top offensive linemen drafted, nothing in free agency following Connor Williams, following Teron Armstead. they are seemingly set to let Jackson and Eichenberg, amongst a couple others, but those guys being the main favorites, to battle it out for the right tackle spot and come whatever may from there. But hopefully, with the new coaching staff, with the new scheme, something can click with one of these guys. And what they have going for them is their age. Just look it up. They're both young as hell. They've got plenty of time to grow. I know that we're very short leased, especially on Jackson with him entering his third year. But remember how Eichenberg is only in his second year. He got thrown into the mix, playing a different position. Give these guys a little bit of time. But based on what the Dolphins have done in the draft and in free agency, you can't help but think that it's stock up for both of these guys. And we've got one final stock down to close out this video. And after the signing of Sony Michel, the stock down has to go to Myles Gaskin, because there's going to have to be at least one odd man out in the running back room following that signing. And Gaskin being with 1 year left on the deal, not being the best schematic fit, already being a guy that was just kind of just like struggling to make the team right away until he had his breakout a couple of years ago. There's plenty of other bodies, younger bodies in that running back room that, hey, if the Dolphins like, they're going to kick the tires on those guys. And then it becomes a numbers game at the running back position. And who are you going to keep? The young guy, the cheap guy, or are you going to try to keep this guy that's on a 1 year deal that you already have seen play with your team for the last few years? It's a numbers game. The odds may go to the younger guy, to the guy that this new coaching staff has invested interest in. So stock down for Myles Gaskin there. But like I said, in the comment section, let's hear your stock ups, your stock downs. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so. And that's what we've got for today, the first installment of Stock Up and Stock Down. And until next time, Dolphins fans, fins up.